All right. So this is gonna be a part two. I guess it's gonna have multiple parts again, cause I just can't. I don't know how people do one whole video, even though this is not that difficult of a picture. And let me get back in frame here. Even though this is not that difficult of a picture, I I take a long time coloring, I guess. So yeah. Indeed. I know if anybody's watching that first part, is like, was she rambling on about fairy tales? I was. I sure was. And I bet now that I said something, you're going to look at Cinderella and Snow White a little differently now. You're going to hear my words and be like, dang, she done ruined. She done ruined Cinderella for me. They're not ruined, because I mean, if you like the story, you like the story. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like the story. I'm just telling you why I did it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It had a little too much. It wasn't flowing for me. That's all I'm saying. It just wasn't a story that I could get with, because I just didn't understand certain things. Maybe it's because of my personality, even as a kid, I just don't deal with certain things. You're not just gonna tell me something. You're not gonna tell me something. See, I'm very comfortable in this video, y'all. So let me get that out of the way real quick. When I'm comfortable, I do not speak proper English. I do not pronounce my R's. I do not speak as coherent, well, not coherent, but I don't enunciate as well, or do those things that one should do in proper speech. Like when you're at work, like when you're doing a business meeting, when you're doing something in a professional capacity, right? You make sure you speak as proper and as clear and enunciate your words so people can understand you. And not only that, but people have a way of self-consciously judging you based on how you speak. All right. However, I am home. I'm chilling with you guys. I'm feeling comfortable. And how I speak at home is not how I speak in public. So, with that being said, my R's will drop. I will not usually pronounce my G's. And I won't enunciate as much as I normally would when, like I just said, I'm in a professional business setting. This is relaxation for me. This is fun for me. And so I am in my fun mode and in my fun speech. So, for those people who say, oh, I don't like the way she talks, there are tons of people on YouTube who make videos, and perhaps you could find one to your liking as you continue to search. But this is how I speak. This is how I'm comfortable speaking. And that is my, little thing on that. Because if anybody watched this, I know there's negative people on YouTube, and that's probably one of the negative comments I'll get at some point if anyone ever bothers to comment on these videos. So I'm saying it now. Now, anyway, I was gonna say something and that made me I made myself forget what I was just going to say. But yeah, those fairy tales are something else. And I'm going to get on another fairy tale real quick, and then I'll probably change the subject, y'all, because I know y'all like good grief with the fairy tales. And I know y'all going to be like, oh, Lord, here she comes with the race stuff. But whatever. I'm black. You see it? All right. Tatiana, Princess and the Frog. First black Disney princess. I love the movie. Fun movie. She was strong. She was focused. She knew what she wanted. She wanted that restaurant. Make her daddy proud. Well, make her mama proud, but make her daddy proud. You know, daddy wasn't around anymore. And he worked hard, and she saw his struggle, and that's where she got her work ethic from. And, you know, she was saving up her money, but she couldn't save as much as she needed at the job she had. Which was relatable, because that's a lot of people's struggle, right? You work, and you have these dreams. But it's hard to make the dream work with the money you're making. Tatiana, you know, I feel your pain, girl. And then, so, you know, she has her friend. Well, I don't know. Well, she was a friend, but I think the mother worked for that family. I'm not sure. Maybe she worked for the family. Anyway, the girl cracked me up. Big Daddy, as she called her father. And, you know. And she ended up being a true friend in the end. You saw that she really had friendship. She really had, you know, a sense of friendship when it came to Tatiana. And I'm not even going to go on that. Y'all thought I was going to talk about that, but I'm not. Because, you know, people got to work. And some people, you know, have to choose to do the housekeeping thing. So, I'm not even going to go there with that because, you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? My problem with the Tatiana Princess and the Frog movie is it's the only princess movie where the princess wasn't human throughout the whole movie. She turned into a frog. And for most of the movie, the two of them were frogs. So, for the first little bit of the movie, you got your character. And right at the end of the movie, you see her again. She gets her kiss and turns back into your human as well as he did. So, it's a double-edged sword. We got our movie, but we didn't really get to see our princess the whole time during the movie. However, it was a good movie. And I love, what was the Mother Odette? I think her name was. She was good. And that alligator cracked me up. And that lightning bug, whatever his name was, oh my goodness. Just loved him. And if you ever, I don't know how, I know some of you probably never been to the South, but that is the thing. Especially if you, the further out into the rural areas that you get, the more lightning bugs, fireflies, whatever you want to call them, you see. I'm very familiar with them. As a little kid, I used to, you think it's, you don't think about how cruel it is, but, catch them and keep them in a jar. I don't do it now because it's when I think about it, I'm like, that's mean. Is I don't know what, catching a bug and keeping it in a jar. That's why I don't have a bird, because birds are meant to fly, not being kept in a dang on cage. But that's a whole nother thing. But he cracked me up. I liked him a whole lot. And I liked the alligator who wanted to be the jazz player, the saxophone player. When he said prickle bush, oh, the prickle bush got me. And I don't know how many of you ever seen a prickle bush, but those things hurt. And then they also have these little the little round prickles that he got off this. It is these little round balls. So you got prickle bush that's just regular. You can have a prickle bush that just has thorns on it, but some people also call it prickle bush. It has these little round balls, and the hole around the ball has thorns on it. So you walk past it, and they will stick to you. And if you don't know that one is on you, because perhaps you have on jeans when you walked by, when you sit down, you gonna know you had one on you, because boy, they will hurt, and they really do stick to you. So that cracked me up. And a line I always say is, "Where you from? Shreveport?" Oh my goodness, that was so funny. That's Southern humor right there. We're from Shreveport. But it was a good movie. I liked that movie. It was fun. I think and they sell those little, it's like a little figurine made about that tall. They sell them at Walmart. That's the only place I've seen them, because I don't go to toy stores and things like that. So I don't know if they sold anyplace else. But they're a little figurine. They about this big. And they have no, I'm going to take that back, because I don't know if they have every. But they have a lot of the princesses. But the only one that I haven't seen is Jasmine or Aladdin. I haven't seen neither one of those. They have Elsa, Anna, Cinderella, Ariel, Tatiana. I haven't seen Snow White, so they don't have Snow White either. But it's just strange. Wait a minute, have I seen Snow White? I'm not sure. I know they have Belle. They have a good little selection of those little dolls. But like I said, they're that big, and they're $5. And I just can't bring myself to spend $5 for a little figurine. But I think eventually I will. And I'll get that Tatiana doll and put it on my bookcase, But I did like that movie. Now, that's a movie that I liked. And I liked it because she was determined. She had a plan and she tried to go after it. And what happened to her was just something that happened to her, you know. Alright, so what should I make this tail, y'all? I guess I'll make this here. Should I make that green? I think maybe green, black, and then orange on the outside. That'll work, huh? I think that's what I'll do. So I think I'm gonna end my Disney princess conversation on that note right there. It's a positive one. And we'll leave it at that. I think that I've said all I can say about it anyway, because I don't really watch those movies that well. But you know what? I'll take that back, because I do have one more, just one more. With the Little Mermaid, which I liked a lot. And I didn't mind her too much. But again, I liked Ursula. Her song was my favorite song of the movie. When she said body language, honey, let me tell you, I rewind that part every time because that was too funny to me. But the only reason, I wasn't really feeling Ursula. Well, I take that back because I did like Ursula. But the only reason I didn't completely root for her, not even root for her, but the reason I didn't mind Ariel so much is because Ursula, being the villain, tried to cheat. Now, the rule was make this man fall in love with you and you can't talk. And she made sure she couldn't talk because she took a voice. Now, she did her part. Dude was falling, and then she goes and tries to manipulate the situation. Turns herself into a woman to lure this dude out. And I'm like, now Ursula, now you gave this girl this mission, and she was about to win it fair and square. So you should have just chalked that loss up and took that L. That's all in life. Sometimes you gotta take the L. You lost. Get them next time. I know what kind of villain would she have been if she had did that, but still. Don't be upset because your plan didn't work out the way you wanted and you couldn't keep this girl's voice. That's all. But that was a good movie. And I like that one too. And then, I'm gonna give y'all a secret in that. Well, not a secret. It's not a secret at all, but I've never been to Disney. And I don't know if I ever go to Disney. Well, I take that back because I probably will because I don't know if I will go to the regular Disney. I do want to go to Animal Kingdom. But I like to ride the rides when I go to places, so I don't know what kind of rides they have. So it's not my first pick of places to go because, you know, I want to ride roller coasters. To be honest, well, what's our time? 22 minutes though. I don't know why it takes me so long. Even if I wasn't talking and doing this video, this is how long it would take me to do this picture. It's not like I'm just taking this long because I'm talking. It really just always takes me this long. But anyway, yeah, I like to ride the rides. I like going places and riding the rides. So I'm probably going to end up going to Universal. And which is going to probably bring us up to my next topic, which I don't have a plan on when I'll get to talking to y'all. I just end up rambling on. But since I said Universal, I know that's going to bring up my next topic because I'm going to Universal, and the place I want to go to the most at Universal is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I've read the books, each book, at least 10 times each. I've listened to the audiobooks about the same number of times. I've seen the movies countless times. It's just really a great series of books for me. And so I will say when it first came out, I was not interested at all. I didn't get it. I was like, well, I really don't see why that would be any interest to me. But then I was living up north at the time, and on my way to work, I would see all these grown people reading this book. And I said, well, I guess I need to give this book a shot. So one day I went to the bookstore and I got the first book in the series and read it and loved it. And that was, like they say, history. That was it. It was, I was in love. And so every time the next book would come out, I would have to wait a year. I would read the book, but to own the book, I would have to wait a year. Because, like I said, I got in on it late. So by the time I read the first book, it was on paperback when I bought the first book. And I'm a little OCD-ish about my books. Whichever way I buy the first one is how I got to buy the rest of them. So I can't buy a paperback and then buy book 2 in hardcover. I can't do that. That doesn't work for me. It's why if any of you are on BookTube or visit BookTube, you'll hear a lot of and for you, those of you, I have a book blog, and my pictures I haven't done it yet, but my pictures will be uploaded onto my book blog. But I'm not on BookTube. But anyway, when you watch, if you ever been on BookTube, you'll hear that topic a lot with booktubers and a lot with book bloggers, which a lot of the booktubers are bloggers. And it's that we don't like changes to the design of a series. If you have your book come out a certain way, with a certain design on the cover, we would expect that design to continue on for the rest of the series because it messes up the flow of how you decorate. Well, not decorate, but just organize your books. And I guess it's just a book person thing. And as an author and as publishers, they should know that. So when you do a book and you do the art cover for the book, it should be a thought out process. If you know that there's going to be 3 books, it's going to be a trilogy, or there's going to be 4 books, you should already have thought about that and thought about the design for all of those books so that it's cohesive. You get the first book and it got a face on the cover. You get the second book and now it's got this other design on it. And you're like, well, you just messed up the series. Thanks a lot. Anyway. So I want to go to Universal. And I want to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And, visit all of that. And I do think that they missed a big opportunity. Other people have said it, but I said it when I first found out that they were doing the park, and that they missed out on the opportunity to make the castle a hotel. They could have brought in so much money from doing that. Because who would not want to stay at one of the houses? And the first floor, or the classrooms, aka classrooms, could have been the shops. Okay, and then you would have had Gryffindor and Ravenclaw in the towers, and maybe Slytherin and Hufflepuff either on the second floor, okay, or they're probably either on the second floor or just not, below on the or below the top floor, the top of the towers. They could have made it work, and they would have made a decent amount of money, I think, doing that. I don't know why they did it, but that was an opportunity missed for sure. I don't understand why they never thought to do that. But it was definitely an opportunity missed, because I would have definitely stayed at the hotel had they did that. So, if they ever decide to do a revamp of their parks, that is one of the things they need to think about revamping, is making that castle the hotel. What were they thinking? Sometimes these people really need to go onto these forums or do a survey, ask people, what would you like to see? Because these are the people who spending money, right? These are the people who money you're trying to get. So why not ask them, what would you like to see? What would you spend your money on? All right, so we got that done. I think I'm going to start with these oranges. I'm going to do the black. I'll probably do that because we're already 32 minutes in. So I'm just going to do the colors here. And then I'll probably come back and do... The black will be done off camera. And then I will do maybe the legs on camera in the background. And then we'll be done with that. But I'm not going to do what I said. I said this is going to be black, this is going to be blue, and then orange. Okay. Or should I make that yellow? What y'all think? Yellow, orange, blue, orange over here. Let's start with the orange and I'll figure it out. So, I just think that's just crazy that they did that. Just don't make any sense. Where am I with my... Alright. So, yeah. So, anyway, Harry Potter. Big fan. I think it's a awesome series. It's more than just witchcraft that a lot of people, it's about witches, and it is. But I think it's more so just a different way to get it's the world building. Just a way of getting the story across, right? But the real story is just about a kid who... Okay, spoiler alert. But if you haven't read Harry Potter by now, you're probably not trying to read Harry Potter, or wasn't interested in it, and I'm not going to spoil anything anyway, so... But anyway, I'll just say spoiler alert anyway. But anyway, it's about a kid who loses his parents. Well, let's see how to explain it. Okay, so a kid grows up unloved, feels like he's not wanted. Though that is not the truth, but that's how he feels because of some choices his mother made, right? So he grows up and he becomes bitter. obsessed with power. He wants to feel important. He wants to be important. So he begins to learn everything he thinks he can about magic in terms of what could make him powerful. The kid becomes Voldemort, right? So he becomes threatening and just won't control. He has a grudge against muggles or non-magical people because that's what his father was. And you can understand for a little bit. Now, and again, y'all, if you watched the last video, you heard me say I have a thing for villains. Now, I don't have a thing for Voldemort. However, I understand. I can empathize with Voldemort because his father did not want him. And you can't really fault the father for not wanting him in particular because he didn't want the mother. The mother tricked him. But he never wanted the mother. Therefore, if he never wanted the mother, he wasn't going to want the child. Okay, so anyway, Voldemort, anger towards muggles really comes from that of his father not wanting the mother and not wanting him either. And so he becomes very hostile, very bitter. But then you have people who felt the opposite. We should live in peace. We should all basically get along, stay in our lane. So by that time, Voldemort had formed his Death Eater crew of other people who were either bitter or had, superiority complexes. The bitter would be, as far as Death Eaters, the bitter would be Snape. And the superiority complex would be the Malfoys. Right? So the Death Eaters are like a cross between the KKK and Nazis, right? You see it in the way they call Muggles mudbloods. You catch the similarity in that, and how they feel like they are beneath, the purebloods, magical families. And the purebloods who are tolerant or friends with, or like the Weasleys would be like muggle blood lovers, things like that. So that's the Death Eaters. And the Order of the Phoenix was basically an organization that was working to fight against the Death Eaters' cause. Right? Like a Rainbow Coalition or a NAACP or a, any of those that you want to compare to that being the opposite of what would be the Death Eaters. So, excuse me. So there you have Voldemort, right? So Harry's parents were in the Order of the Phoenix, fighting against what they felt, they had to do. Especially see now, his father was a pureblood, and his mother was Muggle-born. And so, of course, she felt it wasn't right. Everybody should learn magic if they have magical abilities. And so they fought against them and they died. And protecting Harry, and that's how he gets his scar. And now the story begins with Harry living at his mother's aunt's house with her family. Now, we don't know any of this about Voldemort. We don't know any of this about his mother and his father, how he got his scar. None of this when the story starts. The only thing we know when in the first book is that he stays with his mother's sister. And that they treat him like crap. They got him living in a closet under the stairs. They don't buy him any new clothes. He wears hand-me-downs from a cousin who weighs much more than he does. Oops. And they basically make him do all the chores while the cousin gets to do whatever he wants and treats him however he wants. Kind of like Cinderella. Only, in this case, Harry's underage, so he can't leave. And the house wasn't his to begin with. But the way they treat him is a Cinderella type way. Right? So in the first book, we find out that... Where are we at time? Okay, so in the first book, we find out that Harry is a wizard. And he finds out this other world and this magic, and he got lots of catching up to do. He meets his two best friends, Ron, who he becomes friends with right away, and Hermione, who he becomes friends with later on in the book. And that's basically our first really book. He fights Voldemort in the book at some point, and with the teacher being attached to the spirit of Voldemort. All this, But that's the first book. And it's an interesting book, and it's an interesting concept. And then as you go on further along in the books, that's when you find out what happened with the mother, what happened with the father, why Snape was a Death Eater, why he stopped being a Death Eater, why Snape was the way he was, but he really wasn't that way and was acting like he was that way. Right? There's a lot of other things going on in this book. There's a little bit of a biblical story in the book that you can take out, and you can tell that it is similar to Bible stories. Some historical stories that are put in there that, she fictionalized to make the story work. I mean, it's just a lot of things that's in the book that when you reread it, you're like, okay, I missed that the first 3 times I read the book. And then in that, you have the world building that she builds that is just really complex, and and great and seamless, and you can really get sucked into the story. So, all right, I think I'm gonna do blue because as I'm looking at it, I think I just want that orange just to be that yellow to be just right there. So you can get sucked into that story really easily, and it's a fun story. It's an entertaining story. It's a story that if you don't have religious reasons of why you're not reading the story, you should probably give a chance. And I would say, I don't know if I was in frame when I did that, but I just did that blue outline. And if you're not read the reason that you're not reading the story is because it's religious reasons, then respect on that. That's your religion, and you know. But if your reasoning is because it's a kid's story, the first book is a kid's story. But you need to read the first book. Do not skip the first book. Because are things in the first book that will come along in book 4 that you didn't realize was important. So you have to read each book, and that's where the beauty of the Harry Potter series is that you read the book and you reading things, and there's nothing really in the books that's going on that isn't important. Something's going to come up at some point down the line that you thought was just some type of filler that actually meant something and was a key to another part of the story. So, it's definitely worth giving a try if you haven't read it. All right, so we did that. That took forever, but it is what it is, y'all. I can't help it. I just can't help it. So I'm gonna make this blue too. These here. I know they should be black, but I don't really want to keep this bird so deep in that color. You know what I'm saying? Or should I just maybe what I do is I outline in black, right? And then add some color to it, and maybe that'll work. And then if it don't, I can just black it out. I think we'll try that. How about that? So outline it and see if we can add the blue in, and how would that work? That's not too bad because now it got a little color, but it's not completely black. I think I might like that. So and now, when I say I like Harry Potter, I'm not just saying it. I have a wand and everything. Yes, I do. I posted reading a Harry Potter reading challenge on my blog that was popular a few years back. Excuse me. These pencils are not completely erasable, but sometimes you can erase if you didn't do it that hard. Everybody knows it. Now my husband, on the other hand, likes Twilight, which I just, I can't get with. I'll watch it because he likes it, but it's not my bag at all. And I owned the books in this series, and it's one of the few times I've actually given up books that I've owned and books that I didn't read yet. I could not read it. I never got past, like, I think the first 50 pages, 60 pages. I just couldn't deal with it. Now people say, she loved Edward, this, that, and the third, right? But I felt like she was obsessed. That was obsession. Like, everything out of her mouth was Edward, 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 Edward. It's like, oh my God. Like, you don't even know this dude. So why are you constantly Edward this and Edward that? Right? And then, then one description said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember it correctly, but it said something like he had a purple bag under his eyes from the pool of blood or something like that. And his skin was pale. And he was so beautiful. I'm like, since when is that beautiful? Can you tell me? Most people don't even want the bags under their eyes and put all kinds of creams and ice and all kinds of stuff to get rid of the bags under their eyes. Let alone bags under their eyes from a pool of blood. And you don't tell me that he looking beautiful? All right, but no thank you. So I'm like, well, what's up with the werewolf dude? I mean, he look, that's beauty right there. A pool of blood. Beautiful Edward. Okay. If that's your definition, everybody finds something. There's somebody for everybody. That's what they say. Excuse me. My nose didn't get to run until just now. And all of a sudden it's stuffy. But right, y'all get what I'm saying, right? I mean, since when is that beauty? When is that beautiful? A beautiful blood. It's just beautiful. Oh, Edward. He's just so gorgeous, Edward. Pale and pasty. With a purple pool of blood of baggy eyes. Just beautiful. I don't know. It didn't sound like beauty to me. I will say that I tolerated the movie more than I could have tolerated that book, because I just could not finish that book. I never started the other ones. I will probably never read that book. And it's the first time in a long time there's a short list, and I mean a very short list of books I don't finish. Even if I don't like a book, I usually finish it. And I just couldn't. It just wasn't my thing. So I know all the Twilighters are like, oh, how dare you? Bella and Edward was the Romeo and Juliet. And good for you if you liked it. Hey, everybody likes something different. And everybody don't like some things. And that was one of the things that I just did not like. Alright, so that's where I'm going to stop with this video, y'all. I'm sorry that I didn't get much done, but the video has gotten to almost an hour on the part 2. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to finish the black, and then I'll come back in and color in the spots I'm going to color. And so part 3 will be the finale. So thanks y'all for listening to my rambling and coming by. Bye.